Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I wanted to start at the top of the hour. We're 11 minutes past, but I was eating breakfast and then I got caught up with this Stevie Nicks situation, research, and all that. All right, so trying to get some songs ready for Rock and Roll Club for next week. I already got the songs for this week. Today. Okay, anyway, today, somewhere out in the back of your mind, Evan Williams, 5-year aged straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey sour mash, introduced in 1955. Yes, got the window open a little bit. It's kind of chilly. Yeah, I'm wearing long sleeves. How long has it been? Okay. Coffee. Yes, I don't just drink liquor in the morning. Actually, 3 cups of coffee. First cup with sugar and milk. Second 2 with just milk. Try to not go crazy with sugar. And I've been drinking the Great Value coffee for a long while now, and it's good. You say Great Value. Ah, you're crazy. No, the big old 48-ounce container. It's pretty roast. I mean, I bought the dark roast. It's more expensive, but I didn't find it was any better. I wish they had coffee and chicory, but they do not. Who produces it for Walmart? I don't know. It's probably Folgers. If I could find an establishment code, maybe I'll look that up. It'll help me track down. If it says New Orleans, then I'll know it's Folgers. Okay, which is part of Smucker's. Carmelo says, greetings, sir. Greetings, Carmelo. John and Neil. John, I'm going to answer all the comments you made on my channel. I was going to answer comments before I did this because I'm behind, but I didn't get a chance. So I'm going to answer the comments. I really like Evan Williams. I haven't tried McAfee's yet, though. The label is quite similar to the Evan Williams, a value brand copycat, perhaps. Yeah, it's hard to say. Bailey Vaughn says, "You're the best, Ron. Evan Williams is my fave." I don't know if I'm the best. I try to be at least adequate. Okay, so I bought this Evan Williams bottle in Kentucky, and it was only like $4 something. And I'm glad I did because I saw it yesterday, the same size bottle at a grocery store here, and it was like $9. I said, $9? Are they crazy? I knew it was much cheaper in Kentucky. Now, the regular size bottles are kind of cheaper around here, like $10.99, $11.99, $12.99. McAfee's, well, you can get a big bottle, you know, a regular size 750 milliliter bottle for $8.99. Is it a knockoff of Evan Williams? I think it was more of a knockoff of, yeah, sort of like Evan Williams / Jack Daniels type thing. In 1968, they came out with Benchmark. Seagram's Benchmark. You know, sort of like, oh, here's a wonderful bourbon, blah, 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 but it's so cheap. And I saw some old magazine ads for it, and I posted those in Alcohol Eggs, and it was interesting. Then, you know, Seagram's went atomized. It got dispersed. It no longer exists as of 18 years ago. So Barton got a hold of McAfee, of Benchmark. It was just called Benchmark Bourbon, okay? Then when Sazerac bought Barton in 2009, they wanted to kind of spruce up this kind of, I think they had a issue with a lot of neglected brands that were just kind of languishing. Plus, they bought all the cheap liquor brands from Constellation Brands, you know, the big company that distributes Modelo in America and owns Ballast Point So they were like, they bought all their inexpensive liquor because they wanted to, Constellation Brands wanted to focus on inexpensive wine. Okay, so they updated it and they changed the name to McAfee's Benchmark Old Number 8. Yeah, Old Number 8. We know where that kind of got that idea from, right? Number 8 what? Well, no one knew what Old Number 7 meant, so why not have Old Number 8? And they updated the packaging, and so there we are now. And I think it sells pretty well. Kentucky Sour Mash Whiskey. That one is Kentucky Sour Mash Whiskey. No age statement, which means it's aged at least 4 years. Now, this one has no age statement either, but I saw a video where the spokesman for Evan Williams said it's aged 5 years. So that would be a primary source, right? The actual company telling you. Okay, so EW, Evan Williams, 1955. Interestingly, neither Evan Williams or this guy McAfee have any connection to the brands. It's just that Evan Williams is the oldest known distiller in Kentucky. He no longer does any work since he died in the 1800s, or it might have been the late 1700s. And this McAfee fellow, can't remember his first name, he was an old-time Kentucky distiller as well. And Jethro T. Boots. And so they use all these names, you know. Right, I got to do a written review of the McAfee on Proof 66 following this. So I got to save some. I can't go blasting through this little 100 milliliter bottle because I have to do it, like I said, have to. I want to do taste challenges with it. Let's see, how much was that? That was $1.39. $1.39 divided by 100. Of course, so 14 cents per milliliter times 750. Yeah, as I figured, it's more expensive per milliliter if you buy the smaller bottle. It will come up to $10.40 something cents. So if you buy the regular 750 on its own, it's $8.99 around here. So, but it doesn't matter because I only paid $1.39 for this little sampler bottle at Martin Wine Cellar, and they have a whole case full of sample vodka, sample gin, sample bourbon, sample Canadian whiskey. And I was thinking maybe I ought to buy it. And then I said, are you crazy? You got so much already. Well, they're both golden. I think the McAfee, I think this is the McAfee because it's a little lighter. I guess that extra year of aging gives the Evan Williams a darker appearance. Now, I was reading about McAfee, Old Number 8 Benchmark. Let's just call it Benchmark, okay? And they were saying, and I thought that was right, that it was a higher rye mash bill. It's got a relatively higher rye content than other bourbons. I said, that seems to be a Buffalo Trace house style. You say Buffalo Trace. Yeah, McAfee Benchmark is a Buffalo Trace bourbon. It's on their website, just like Ancient Age and a whole lot of other stuff. Get on Great Bourbon's website, or get on Buffalo Trace website, or get on the Sazerac website. They give you 3 different choices. And you can look up most of their bourbons. Not all, because like all these other companies, there are so many hidden brands. Same thing with Pabst. You know, Pabst says, here's our portfolio. Here's all the beers we have, except for the dozen that we're not listing. Like Carling, Black Label, and Country Club. And maybe even Stag Ice is still made. So I don't know why these companies have these hidden brands. It's almost like they don't even realize what they've got or something. It's strange. Oh man, you could do a video channel only doing Sazerac products, and it would take you years to go through all their products. including the wine. Was that Japanese plum wine, the Fukiyi or whatever I see all around? Or you could do Heaven Hill, Evan Williams, and go through all their wine and spirits, and it just would never end. Or Pernod Ricard, or Diageo, etc., etc. I mean, you could just dedicate your whole channel to one company and it would not stop. That's how extensive this whole thing is. All right, so let's go with the challenge now. Got the 2 eggs, got the half link of sausage, smoked sausage, got the little slices of extra sharp cheddar cheese and the diced red onions. Of course, the Louisiana brand hot sauce. All of that, ate it up with the bread, the French bread in the butter. And so I feel fortified for this challenge. Bailey Vaughn retracted his message. Uh-oh. Wish I could retract a lot of things I've said online. Thank you for the shout out, Ron. Is Evan Williams the best budget whiskey? I couldn't tell you that because I've not tried all the budget whiskeys, and there are hundreds. But it seems to be one of the best. I mean, think about early times, though. That's $8.99 a bottle everywhere. And that's a dynamite product. It's a little bland, you know, but it's dynamite, you know. Look at the Jethro T boots. If you get your little CVS pharmacy card, you can get that for $8.99, and that's a 4-year bourbon. Prediction, they will both be good, so Evan Williams wins on price. No, the benchmark would win because the benchmark is always $2 cheaper. Benchmark would win. And then I think I saw at Mathern's yesterday, there was some kind of little coupon book. Like they'll hang those on the neck, you know, the distributor, on the little rubber, you know, little elastic band. I'm still waiting on my $7 refund from Diageo. Smells good. He said, oops, didn't know that. That's okay. Evan Williams and McAfee were around long before trademarks for these products were obtained. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. They probably never knew somebody was going to appropriate their name and image for their liquor sales, did they? They both smell sweet, you know, like whiskey, you know what I mean? Bourbon. You know, I've said this before that bourbon to me, or whiskey in general, smells like candy, tastes like candy, which is good because I wouldn't become an alcoholic because I can only eat so much candy and then I'm sick of it for the day. And not to mention, I just don't like drinking that much. Now you might say, yeah, but you drank steady. Steady is not the same as heavy now, is it? Those are two different adjectives. Well, adverbs, I mean to say. This one smells a little more peppery, though. They're both kind of woody. This one's sweeter, more caramel. Boy, confusing. I thought this would be a challenge. You ever want to do a great tourist trip? If I never went to another amusement park, that would be too soon, okay? I got to tell you that. But good tourist things like Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky, right next to the river, just like they say on the bottles, right next to the river, in this valley with hills all around. It's really pretty. In a mansion. In this enormous facility. I mean, you can't believe how big it is. It used to be called Shinley Distillery until the Sazerac company bought it in '92, and they thought they want to make it sound like a more quaint name, you know, so Buffalo Trace. And then you can drive an hour west. I don't even know if it's an hour. It's not far. anyway, you're driving in Kentucky, you're having fun. It's like a tourist, you know, and so you don't care how far it is. You can go west a little while on the Parkway and go to Barton Distillery, which is also free, no charge. And they're not stingy with their liquor. They just let you drink, 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 drink. And then they say, you want to try vodka? You want to try this bourbon cream? And then they'll tell you, look, we're not responsible for any driving activity in which you may engage following this tasting. What is the price point for the McAfee's in your area? Yeah, $8.99 a bottle. Yeah, everywhere. Cheap. It's like the same price as blended whiskey. I mean, if you get the blended whiskeys around here, like Beam's 8-Star, or what's another common one? Heaven Hill, Kentucky whiskey. They're the same price, but I guess some people like those more. They don't like that harsh woodiness of the bourbon. All right, taste time. There's a little beeswax in it. Flowers, nectar, caramel, wood, of course, wood, vanilla. But maybe a little pepper, but not the woodiness of the Evan Williams from my recollection. Oh, that's an eye opener. All right, let's go with this one here. Oh, it's got to be Evan Williams. It's got to be. It's too woody. Evan Williams is like charred wood, man. It's like a campfire. I mean, it's definitely there. It's bourbon, corn, lots of corn. It ought to have lots of corn. Bourbon has to be at least 51% corn. It has to be corn whiskey. And then it can have other ingredients of various not required sorts. Hear what I'm telling you? It may be rye, it may be barley, it may be other things. Look at the specs. Read the website. Read the Tax and Trade Bureau. You know, bourbon is not legally identified by people's impression of it. It's legally identified by legal standards. That's why Jack Daniel's is a bourbon. No one, and I don't care what the company says. They'll even tell you on the tour, well, we just, basically, we don't want to call it a bourbon. Okay. I don't care what they call it, but I know what it is. They spend an hour telling you why it's a bourbon. And then they say, well, but it's not really a bourbon. Yes, it is. I wasn't going to argue with them. I didn't care. After all, I had to pay $17 for the tour. Now, is that a value? $17. And they are stingy with what they let you have. Let you have 1 ounce of each flavor. I say, oh boy. But they do give you a little bag of pretzels. How about that? Now, so if you want a lot more laid back approach, go to Barton. But I did it. All right. I went to Jack Daniel's Experience. Okay. So I did it. All right. I paid the $17. I did it once. I ain't doing it again. In my opinion, sometimes these products can have too much of a wood component, which is why I think I prefer the Evan Williams green label over the black label. Yeah, it doesn't have nearly as much wood. Okay, well, this has got to be Evan Williams. I mean, it's got to be. It is. See what practice will do for you. Now, the counterpoint, somebody might watch and say, oh, wow, so you proved that you can drink whiskeys every few days a week in the morning at dawn and then tell them apart. That's really an accomplishment. It is an accomplishment. I didn't say it was an important accomplishment. I never said anything on this channel associated with beer, wine, or liquor was important. I like to do the history and the government. You know, those are important. Of course, some people get angry, you know, because you have opinions like, how dare you have an opinion that is different from mine? Well, I don't know. I just thought maybe you could be open-minded. We could talk about issues, but I'm sorry. So, yeah, Evan Williams. So it's just too woody to miss. It's too woody to miss. Now, what's even more interesting, notice I never said important. What's even So Evan Williams, well, there's magic all around you, if I do say so myself. Well, what's even more important, I mean, more interesting, now I'm confusing myself. In 2 days, perhaps I'll do the Evan Williams versus Jim Beam. Now, okay, you say, oh boy, now we're getting fancy. Yeah, huh? No, the thing that's interesting about that is that the Jim Beam is more mossy. Remember I said that so many times, the mossy, moldy qualities, as opposed to the charred wood, heavy wood qualities of the Evan Williams. So it's going to be sort of like wood versus mold. Who will win? I don't know. And then the Jim Beam choice, right? The charcoal filtered 5-year aged Jim Beam. And if you can find that, you've accomplished something because it's so rare. And then the Jack Daniels. I don't think that'll be much of a contest because I don't recall the Jack Daniels having any kind of wood character or profound of a wood character as the Evan Williams. Although it's harsher and, I meant to say, bolder. It's a bolder whiskey. And then the Jack Daniels Green Label, which is milder and it's younger. It's not aged as long, they said on the website. And plus it's in a different part of the barrel house where it doesn't get the proper heat. That's why the Green Label sort of like the throwaway. Like it doesn't meet the Jack Daniels standard. But enough people like it that they can sell it in a green bottle and it sells like crazy. In the 5 states that it's sold, why it's not sold everywhere anymore, I don't know. I think I know, though. I have a suspicion why. First theory, they've probably, over the years with technological advancement, have been able to compensate for the barrel houses, and there's less and less of the inferior product. Secondly, there's probably still millions of gallons of the inferior product per year. But Brown-Forman is probably selling it as other things aside from Jack Daniels Green Label. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Other brands that they're selling that people are drinking and saying, oh boy, I love this stuff better than that damn old Jack Daniels. Yeah, but you're drinking a rebranded Jack Daniels that got kicked out, that was rejected, but you don't know that. Because do you know that company has always sold other whiskeys besides Jack Daniels? Yeah. And a lot of them. That's just their flagship. They have all kind of stuff in the store that you may not even know. Not that many people are looking at the back of the bottle and saying, oh, Brown-Forman, okay. Oh, let's see. Trez, we got some more comments, and then I'm going to wrap this up. John says, you're getting quite good at this. It's amazing how one's palate evolves with experience. Yeah, I'm getting quite good until the next catastrophic failure, right? Jim Beam and Evan Williams are both very woody in the finish, I think. That one will be interesting. Yeah, but I think the Jim Beam is more mossy. I don't know where that mossiness comes from. It's almost like they're using green wood, wood that's not quite dried. Trev says, Evan Williams has a good name here in Australia and a price tag. Now, I know Australia has like incredibly high liquor prices, beer and wine prices, which to me is outlandish, But hello, Trev's Travel Tales. He does a good video channel. I like to watch his reviews. He says, enjoy the moment. Don't worry about people's BS comments. Yeah, I get a few of those. You're right with the wood. Plenty with Evan Williams' sweet pungency of the beam. Yep. I agree with that. I didn't know you were a big bourbon drinker, though, but I'm glad to know that. Vote for Trump says, yes, he's getting better. You can't appreciate whiskey or beer until you learn how to differentiate them. And I have not learned past tense. I'm learning present tense. But I think I'm getting better. I don't know. I think so. Interesting theory. It makes perfect sense. It's not like Brown-Forman is going to waste their product. Oh, I guarantee you they're not going to waste their product. That stuff is not getting dumped out. Oh, no. And anyway, they have tasters. That's their job. They taste bourbon all day. So they're going to detect things that you probably and me probably could never pick up. You know what I'm saying? And so they're going to put it in that green label or some other brand. So, I mean, you know, hell, excuse my language. Heck, they might, and this is an even more interesting theory, but it makes sense. They might even take it and make it a single barrel whiskey and sell it for $40 a bottle. You say, oh, single barrel, the green label. Well, what do you think the green label's coming from? It's coming from barrels. They told us on the tour, single barrel doesn't mean anything. It does not mean that it's better. It has no bearing on the quality of the product. All it means is that all the whiskey coming out of that bottle series is from a single barrel. But back in 1984, some company did it. I can't remember who. I think it was Barton. Or it might have been Shenley, Buffalo Trace. And people were like, oh, wow, it's single barrel, like it was some special thing, you know? And the company was like, okay. So this is like a thing, right? So then they started doing it and everybody started doing it. Most whiskey you buy is blended, or as Jack Daniels says, mingled, because they mix it to get the best taste. Like this one might be too woody, this one's too sweet, that one's too harsh, that one's too bland. But then they got this idea. And I said, well, how did they pick the single barrel? Or somebody else on the tour said that. And the guy said, oh, they just grab, you know, they just pick one. And then you can say, I got the 2013 and I got the 2014 and I paid so much money for it. I think they should do that with beer. Like they could have Budweiser single barrel, you know. And then people would drink it, say, it's so sour, you know, it's so much more sour than a crappy regular Budweiser. It was like, yeah, well, that's why they blend it, because it was considered too sour. Because they try to, there's a center point, right? This benchmark, and then they're trying to bring it toward the center. And that's how they do the blending. Trev says, cheers, mate. I used to drink only bourbon for 3 years. Whoa, tried a lot of, but nothing compared to you. You have to love a good bourbon. Yeah, but for $8.99 a bottle, am I ever drinking any good bourbon? He says, not many single barrel anythings are that good. Hey, but they're good for the companies because people buy that stuff and it's got the little tag on it, barrel number 1250, 2016. And they'll save it, like they won't even open it. Like I bought this single barrel. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. You go in these barrel houses, there's 22,000 barrels. 22,000. That was a small one. I was in the girl said, this is kind of a smaller barrel house. It only contains 22,000 barrels. She said, we got big ones over there on the other side of that hill. It's like 50,000 barrels. And you say, oh, I got a single barrel out of that 50,000 barrels. You might have gotten taken for a ride, but I can't talk too much about people getting taken for a ride because I'm the one that paid $17 to go on a little tour. A tour, well, it was worth it. It was worth it in a Disney World sort of way, you know, not, I don't know. It was kind of authentic. They blend wines because on their own they taste flimsy and rough. Right, right. But then you can get a single barrel wine, I guess, and say, oh boy, look at this. It's got a catalog number. It was signed by the winemaker on a computer signature thing, a machine. John Aneely says, Budweiser single barrel. Now that's an idea, right? And if they do it, I hope I get remuneration for it. I do demand to be paid, and paid handsomely, for this idea. But something's telling me that that will not happen. Okay. Number 8, I got to save this for the written review. If you want to read my written reviews for beer, look at Beer Advocate and Rate Beer. I've got over 1,000 on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate. Like, yeah, you really want to do that? Read all that? But just, that's proof that I'm not just making that up when I say that. And then on Proof 66, I've got, just a handful of reviews. I didn't start writing those too long ago. There is a wine review website where you can write wine reviews, but then you got to pay to join it. It's like, why would I pay to join this? And anyway, I'm writing reviews to help the site grow, so shouldn't I be getting paid? It's like Rate Beer and Beer Advocate make money off of us giving them content. I don't know, something's backward about that. Like, you give free content. Okay. We pay whoa. We pay $35 for a cheap bourbon here. Jim Beam White Label, and $40 for Jack Black. Holy smokes. Jack Daniels is $23.99 here, and you're paying $40. I'd like to go to Australia to see the country, but I wouldn't want to go there to buy any liquor or beer or wine. Oh, no. Vote for Trump says, yikes. Yeah. Oh, this is like wood, man. It's almost like a mintiness when you inhale and exhale. I don't know why the woodiness and the char would translate to mint, but it is. It's strange. One thing we could say is that when somebody tells you, Evan Williams, you drinking that garbage? You can tell them garbage. Why do you call Evan Williams garbage? Your cool friend said that? Believe me. Believe you me. Believe me you. Evan Williams is not garbage, in my opinion. It's really good. All right. There's the dawn. Still cold. I mean, you know, if you want to call 59 degrees cold. Trev said, don't come here for a cheap party. It never happens. I believe it. It sounds expensive. All right. That's it. Okay, so off to write the written review. So thanks, people, for watching this taste challenge. And I'm looking for 2 days from now. I mean, tomorrow night, 6:30, we have a brandy examination, 6:30 Central Time. And this was John Anile's idea. Paul Masson, VSOP, brandy, very smooth, pale, aged 4 years in bourbon barrels. Well, now, that should be something. And I don't know how many people are going to join. Probably just be me and John Anile, but maybe some other people want to jump in, like Bill McIntosh or somebody. I don't know. You know, people don't want to really go run out and buy a $15 bottle of brandy just to do an examination. I can understand that attitude. And then maybe Thursday morning, we do the Evan Williams versus Jack Daniels. I mean, Jim Beam, White Label. Oh, boy, I can't wait. I'd like to do it now, but no. We're going to wait. All right, thanks.